All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and we are gonna jump right on into part number 2 of AlphaStar taking on Liquid MaNa. This is one of the last AlphaStar games I'll be commentating. Or one of the last videos. We've got the one random straggler match, and then maybe something else coming up. We'll see. But yeah. So far, AlphaStar has been looking dominant as ever. We will check out the last 3 matches that MaNa played against AlphaStar, but so far, it's just been cool to see, basically, how AlphaStar has gone ahead and kind of changed itself up. Like, the latter variations compared to this variation we've seen of AlphaStar taking on MaNa is completely different. Completely different. Like, AlphaStar never cheesed when it was on ladder, really. Or it never went for... It definitely macroed more. Like, it did go for pushes, and, like, some of the lower iterations did do, like, Ling Fleds and things, but as far as, like, going for, like, a proxy or something, I don't think we ever saw that in, like, a PvP. So, yeah, we're on the map Catalyst once again. If you guys do enjoy these AlphaStar videos, go ahead and hit that like button. Seeing as how there's... Let's see, 4 AlphaStar games left. Let's go for 4 likes on this video. 3 MaNa ones and then the 1 final ladder game. But yeah, and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. And actually, just go try watching one of the non-AlphaStar videos on the channel. Starcraft 2 is an amazing game, and I think the pro scene is something that's truly wonderful to be involved in. Like, I've watched pro Starcraft matches for years and years. I've cheered for players. I've gone to Korea to watch the GSL live, which was awesome. And I'm definitely going to be a fan as much as I can. I honestly don't have as much time as I used to back when I don't know, back when times when I wouldn't be working or whatever. Back when I was still in high school, I'd just, like, watch tons of Starcraft. Just be able to tell you every single thing about what every single player will do and why. And it's awesome getting to know the game to that level. Or if you just want to be a casual viewer, you can just be awed by the level of play that the pros put out. So there's something for everyone as far as StarCraft involved. Now, we do see MaNa going for the double stalker play. AlphaStar, I believe, went for the Adept. Yes, it did. MaNa is coming around with a scouting probe to see what AlphaStar is up to, so not wanting to be caught out this game. And then both players going for 2 stalkers after that. MaNa's got the Stargate in here, whereas AlphaStar is yet to invest in any tech. So we'll see what the AI is going to do. MaNa's probe getting chased by AlphaStar's. Oh no, MaNa missed microing. Could have definitely ran that probe around a little bit more. Kept it alive. Been more of a nuisance to AlphaStar. The 2 adepts of AlphaStar have been getting chased by MaNa stalkers. AlphaStar immediately goes for a recall, realizing that the adepts had 2 stalkers chasing them over here. And where their shade completed, there was 2 stalkers as well. So... Brilliant, brilliant move by AlphaStar. As long as you are prepared to make a recall with adepts, they're very tanky, so you can generally get them out of most situations. So that's actually really cute by AlphaStar doing that. I think MaNa's finally like, yes, I'm gonna get a nice win. Pick off those 2 adepts, and AlphaStar's just like, nope, not happening. We see a Nexus on the way for AlphaStar, beating out MaNa's Nexus timing. MaNa's got a shield battery at his natural base. I mean, he's been abused and battered a little bit by AlphaStar in the past 3 games, so playing it safe is definitely something I understand. All the while, an Oracle's going to be flying into AlphaStar's base for MaNa, but we see the mass saturation by AlphaStar, so the AI, even if it loses a few probes, is still going to be up. The Oracle for MaNa flying over, grabs another probe on its way out. I'd say that the probe kills barely were important at all for MaNa. The most important part was surely the fact that AlphaStar just had a lot of lost mining time, right? And if we did have income graphs in this game, which we sadly don't, we would have seen that MaNa's income did spike over AlphaStar's for a second, but then again, we take a look, AlphaStar is now saturated up its natural, so it's got an economic lead for a minute. And with a worker lead, AlphaStar is in the front. Robo's now on the way for MaNa. AlphaStar, has it even gone for any tech yet? No, it's just on 5 gateways, so maybe we're going to be seeing some more of that pressure from AlphaStar. Going to be trying to kill off MaNa early. And that's really the only thing that makes sense, but it is quite odd. The fact that the AI has just gone 5 gateways into a Twilight Council, like some of the builds we've seen from AlphaStar, are so odd. Like, this makes no sense. The AI scouted out MaNa, but imagine if MaNa had been going for like a quick Dark Shrine or something. The AI would just be totally dead. But nope, AlphaStar just sitting pretty with its mass stalkers. Twilight Council's on the way, so I imagine we're going to be seeing Blink out of AlphaStar. When you make this many stalkers, there's really only one upgrade you want to get. And MaNa, seeing all these stalkers, probably knows that it's going to be a Blink play, so he should be making lots of Immortals. He should be careful about moving out on the map. He should, yeah, just basically pump out Immortals is what you want to do against Blink Stalkers. Your unit positioning is very important, because Blink Stalkers are one of those units which will create opportunities for the player with them. And so as the player who doesn't have Blink Stalkers, you basically just need to make sure that you're not stepping out into a danger zone, basically. You want to avoid the danger zone. Now let's take a look. We have got a Robo on the way for MaNa, which is an interesting choice. He does have a second Immortal on the way, but I'd really just be prioritizing Immortals if I was MaNa at this point. I mean, I'd probably have already lost the game if I was MaNa, but yeah, generally seeing this many Stalkers, you should be like, that is a big investment. Counting 10 Stalkers, you want to be like, okay, definitely going to be some Blink of some sort, so, well, it's definitely going to be Blink. And with MaNa not scouting a third base, he should be like, yes, you are coming to kill me. So we see an extra Robo go up for MaNa, which I really do like. Just Mass Immortals is what he needs. He really needs Mass Immortals. He's going for Disruptors, which I honestly don't like this choice from MaNa. I know that Disruptors are a very powerful tool, but AlphaStar has got unlimited APM, so the AI can probably just Blink to dodge those, I imagine. We'll see how well it does dodge these. Keeping in mind that these are the old Disruptors, which immediately detonate upon connection with a unit. So these Disruptors will basically... You can always just blink one Stalker in front of the Nova, and that'll take care of that. But MaNa is now pumping double Immortals, which I really, really like. Like, this is so many Immortals. AlphaStar is now going to start putting the pressure on MaNa a little bit. He's got to be careful moving out, though, because it's easy for the Stalkers to get a win after that. And AlphaStar has actually just been making Stalkers. Like, guys, this is 28 Blink Stalkers for AlphaStar. This is nutty. You never see this in a pro game. This is an AlphaStar PvP special, I feel, here. So MaNa, he's just got to sit home, hide by his shield battery, basically. He's got his Disruptor. If AlphaStar just blinks on top of MaNa, that would be mental, but oh, that Immortal's got to be careful. AlphaStar is looking for anything it can get. A Nova goes out to help zone out the Stalkers. AlphaStar is going to control these units very, very well, though. It's basically got unlimited APM. Disruptor gets picked off, so we're already starting to see some losses for MaNa. I mean, yeah, he's just got to make sure he keeps his Immortals on the front, doesn't step out too far. But so many Stalkers are here for AlphaStar. AlphaStar is diving forward with the Stalkers, microing them back. A few hit the Stasis Ward. So far, things are looking pretty good for MaNa. However, he is vastly outnumbered. The AlphaStar macro just churning out Blink Stalkers can make a lot of Blink Stalkers, all the while MaNa needs another shield battery up. His front one's drained. He's making just more and more Immortals. He's got +1 on the way. So these Immortals will really, really cut up these Stalkers. And that Stasis Ward is attempted by MaNa, but that gets shut down. There's now 5 Immortals for the Protoss player, another Stasis Ward getting up. MaNa's just playing it defensive. It is actually so scary for him, though. While he's got the massive Immortals, AlphaStar is just controlling these Stalkers with literally just robot-like control. Like, look, no human could be doing what AlphaStar is doing right now. A Stalker takes a shot and it gets out. AlphaStar's only lost 7. Continuing to apply the pressure on MaNa. And it's basically impossible for MaNa to push out right now, so we see him running out Dark Templar. I actually didn't see him sneak up that Dark Shrine. I really love that. The Immortals are getting targeted down. One does go down. It did cost AlphaStar 1 Stalker to get that, so an amazing, amazing trade for AlphaStar. MaNa's just pumping out more and more Immortals, but this is such a tough position for him. These Immortals trying to help zone out those Stalkers. The DTs running in for AlphaStar are actually super important. As long as MaNa sends 1 to each base, he can maybe disrupt the AI a little bit. For now, though, he's just stuck on 2 bases, whereas AlphaStar has got 3. DTs are working on the Prism, however, are working on the Robo, however, there is already An Observer out for AlphaStar. MaNa just elects to recall those VPs. MaNa's been pushing out with the Immortals, but AlphaStar blinks on top of him, blinks on top of those Immortals, which are putting out a ton of firepower on the Stalkers. I'm not sure if that was the trade AlphaStar wanted. Oh, man. AlphaStar making a questionable decision. MaNa still with 6 Immortals. He's just greatly increased the amount of Stalkers he killed, getting some more that were caught in that Stasis Ward. AlphaStar really making some questionable decisions now, and things are starting to look up for MaNa. I'm curious if he's going to push out at this point. Like, is this the right call to be pushing out? I think if you know that your opponent's on 3 bases, it is, but... man, MaNa's moving out, and there's still all these Stalkers for AlphaStar. The AI has got units on the front, units from the back. If this was a human, there'd be no way they'd be microing this, but we do see AlphaStar now with 2 groups of Stalkers coming forward. There is a Disruptor out for MaNa, too. Maybe he can get a big hit. We shall see. MaNa, he's just going back and forth. He knows that the Blink Stalkers are going to try and pick off a unit, so it's like AlphaStar's a wolf nipping at his heels. We take a look. MaNa doing some really good micro, saving that Archon. That was well done, but the Archon does quickly perish after that. MaNa's warping in Zealot, so he'll have charge. Chasing down the Observer of AlphaStar. Looks like he will kill it. Immortals pushing those Stalkers away. Looks like the Oracles are going to be grabbed by AlphaStar, and looks like one of them does escape. But MaNa wants to push across the map. He's not having the easiest time of it, though. AlphaStar has really been making him work just for every inch that he pushes across the map. He's warping in a big round of Zealots. He's got charge on the way. He is pretty much all in, though, as he is on 2 bases. MaNa loses his Disruptor. That's rather painful. AlphaStar looks to be taking the engagement. The lack of charge right here is really hurting MaNa. 2 of his Immortals have gone down, and this looks to be really good trades for AlphaStar. Looks like another Immortal just wanders forward, and MaNa tried splitting his army, but trying to outsplit AlphaStar does not work, as the AI is just microing on all fronts. Just superhuman micro. Or not superhuman, this is better than superhuman. AlphaStar just microing these Stalkers nonstop. MaNa has lost his Immortal count. He's fallen below what I'd say is critical mass for Immortals, and now he's got to go home to try and rebuild his army count. But yeah, fighting before charge was a big mistake. Maybe he should have been chrono boosting that out the whole time. I'm unsure. But yeah, just incredible play. MaNa's really being taxed to the max by AlphaStar. And now that charge is done, the Zealots can maybe help out. But the problem is AlphaStar just keeps retreating. Big surround by AlphaStar. The agent is going to blink on top of MaNa. It looks like MaNa's going to lose pretty much all of his Immortals. AlphaStar is going to be taking this game against MaNa. Like, this was just insane. This was the game that jumps to mind when thinking of AlphaStar versus MaNa. Just the mass Blink Stalkers showing its skill. Just definitely could be considered a little bit cheaty, seeing as how AlphaStar just definitely microed more than a human can that game, but that was nutty. That was 13 Immortals for 62 Stalkers. I mean, 13 Immortals for 62 Stalkers, that's definitely actually an alright trade for MaNa, but if we take a look, MaNa lost 31 Zealots in there too. Disruptors, Sentries, his own Stalkers, Archons, and so the resources lost are in favor of MaNa. So while AlphaStar was taking very good trades to be considered with Blink Stalkers, like, Blink Stalkers would never be, like, a human's Blink Stalkers would never trade this well. AlphaStar's traded much better than a human's, but still traded worse than what a different army composition would have. But then just with the AlphaStar macro behind it is just making Stalkers for days. And MaNa ended up falling, so GG, we'll load into the next game. Alright, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, into what was the final match of the original MaNa versus AlphaStar exhibition match. And yeah, here we have MaNa. He's in the top left this time. Here's in the bottom right is AlphaStar. And we'll see how this final game goes. I honestly can't remember. It's been like 2 years since these came out, so apparently there is a window which you can forget almost everything that happened in a match of Starcraft 2. Of course, I did remember all those Blink Stalkers that AlphaStar used in the last game, but the other games I didn't remember that too much. Yeah, if you guys want to know something that's funny, there is a considered advantage that could be argued for spawning in the top left versus the bottom right of a game of StarCraft 2 because of the way your mouse works. Like, some players say that it's easier to box up. Oh, pardon me. Some players say it's easier to box up than it is to box down. because your mouse, I think most players generally keep their mouse naturally in the upper right corner, so it's easier to do this. I think if you're in the bottom side, because your units are usually at the south, whereas if you're at the top side, I'm honestly unsure. But there is definitely an argued advantage. Meanwhile, AlphaStar threw down a very odd pylon on MaNa's side of the map. So delaying its own gateway in order to get a pylon on MaNa's side of the map, then going for a Cybercore. AlphaStar is the gift that just keeps on giving. Why would it do this? Why? Is that just to tilt MaNa? Is that just a thing that players did in the initial games that it was seeded with? Some sort of odd behavior, but AlphaStar is going for a Zealot into a Cybercore on the low ground with a random pylon, and then another pylon outside of MaNa's base. This AI is just really trying to mess with MaNa. And, mess it has done, as MaNa's just waiting for his pylon to finish up, then we'll be able to start up what should be 2 Stalkers. I doubt you go for Adepts in this situation if you're MaNa, because you got a pylon to kill, basically. So there's the 2 Stalkers. MaNa Chrono boosting out Warp Gate research, whereas AlphaStar is actually going for a battery and a robo, so gonna be cheesing out MaNa again. MaNa comes in with his probe, he's scouting this out, he's like, what on earth is this? What is this? I don't see an extra pylon, but then there's a pylon in my main base, and AlphaStar is just throwing up more shield batteries. MaNa's got his own robo on the way. However, AlphaStar will have the quicker Immortal, and Immortals are a very big deal. MaNa's now scouting out, like, are you going for some weird 1 gateway expand, or what? The Stalkers are now working away on this pylon. That could be good, but this is just distracting MaNa so that AlphaStar is able to get a pylon on MaNa's low ground, and then it can pop up more shield batteries and things. And yeah, AlphaStar is actually doing a rather technical cheese here. This is not something that you'd think the AI would generally be good at, because it requires quite a bit of understanding of the mechanics, not just of repetition in a sense. But yeah, we take a look. MaNa's now trying to push forward with its Stalkers, push away AlphaStar as AlphaStar retreats that 1 Stalker to that battery. The probe does get targeted down. MaNa forces a cancel on that 1 shield battery. He's engaging the Stalker of AlphaStar again, but AlphaStar can just retreat that Stalker away. The Immortal is now out. This is really going to complicate things for MaNa. MaNa should have his own Immortal on the way, and he does, but now AlphaStar's got the Big Daddy Immortal pushing up the ramp. If these gateways get unpowered, that is going to be a huge, huge deal for AlphaStar. Probes are now being pulled. If they can lock these units in, that would be a big deal. Can they catch the Immortal? The answer is no. Just the Zealot gets caught. One of the Stalkers of MaNa goes down. MaNa's now going to retreat up his ramp, but the main difference here is that MaNa never got up his own shield batteries, whereas AlphaStar did. So MaNa can't heal up his units, but the AI can. The AI is now tossing up his Stargate. I don't know about that on the front lines, but hey, if it works, it works. We see MaNa's warped in a sentry. He gets a great force field, locks in that 1 Immortal, and is actually going to be able to kill it off. That is a good move by MaNa. He just needs to make sure that he keeps on warping in more units, getting out more and more forces. He's warping in another sentry. That last force field worked out really well for him. AlphaStar might try going up that ramp again. That would be huge if MaNa could catch that Immortal. We take a look here. The AI has now got a Stargate on the way, so that there could be a potential Void Ray or something like that. And this is just a crazy cheese. I mean, MaNa's locked in his base, and I'm not sure that he can break this because of the batteries on the low ground. I think he's going to try because he's got the 2 Immortals and the sentries, and he is going to push down. Force fields the Immortal. Does he keep it away from the battery? No, he doesn't, but can he still target it down? Looks like the answer is not quite, so the Immortal is staying alive, and that can put out a lot of damage. Looks like MaNa might lose his own Immortal. AlphaStar even pulling a probe into the equation. Now all of a sudden, MaNa is outgunned. He brought a couple of Zealots down here to help out, but not grabbing that Immortal, not being able to kill it off was a massive loss for MaNa. He's now microing back his own Immortal, but a Prism just showed up. However, it's too late. There's a Phoenix out for AlphaStar, which will kill off this Prism. The Zealots can be saved, but AlphaStar's done it. MaNa tried to break that, but he was unsuccessful. I don't know, maybe MaNa should have pulled a few probes with that himself or something, since it was pretty much a make or break, win or lose situation, but MaNa's totally dead now. Like, he's lost 2 Immortals. AlphaStar's only lost 1. The batteries paying for themselves. This Immortal right here, if this had died, MaNa cleans this up. No question about it. But, oh man, that's just such a rough spot for MaNa. He's now pulling probes to try and hold on. He does grab that Immortal finally, but now a Void Ray's on the way for AlphaStar. MaNa has got 1 Stalker for his anti-air. I don't know about you guys, but the math does not check out when it comes to 1 Immortal facing 1 Stalker. MaNa has to cancel that pylon, so yeah, he can't make any anti-air. And there's a Void Ray on the way. MaNa can juggle with this Prism all day long, but it's just not going to work out. AlphaStar's brought more probes up into the fray. There is one gateway, actually, for MaNa to the left, so he warps that in, but yeah, he's not going to be able to kill this Void Ray. There's no way. No way, and AlphaStar has just won the game. This has been crazy. AlphaStar showing such depth of play. I definitely think that MaNa could have held this off. I definitely do think that MaNa could have held it off, and honestly, one of the coolest projects I think that could be next for DeepMind or whatever in StarCraft would be to have it so that the AI actually learns dynamically from its ladder games. Maybe makes adjustments. I don't know if you can actually do that, though, because it takes so long for so many games for the AI, like 200 years of playing or whatever, for it to be able to learn behavior. So, like, an AI does not get trained at the rate a human does. Artificial intelligence doesn't work that way. But if there was some way that, I don't know, if DeepMind could make, like, an AI that, say it loses to a cheese or something, it could basically take that replay or whatever and then rerun it through. I don't know, have another agent play like the player did, play exactly as the player did, have AlphaStar test it out. And you could, in theory, make an automated system that would do that. So you could have, like, a dynamic AI on the StarCraft 2 ladder that when it loses, it changes up its play style. That would be something that would be a very interesting thing, because one of the things about these AI is, if you got a chance to play them 50 or 100 times, the human will learn how to exploit them, whereas the AI won't. So either you got to keep bringing in new AIs, or you got to have an AI that learns, because I do believe that if MaNa got to play this agent like another 10 times, he'd probably win a decent chunk of the games. And keep in mind this agent does have the unlimited capability, and that we're just going to go load into the next match, which will be the final exhibition match of AlphaStar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have just done the 5 games that MaNa initially played against AlphaStar. However, they let MaNa have a rematch against one of the different AlphaStar iterations with the capped APM, so similar to the ones that that were played out on ladder. And so this is going to be a completely different match, I think. MaNa taking on AlphaStar. And yeah, just exciting stuff. If you guys do want to read more about the exact way they basically made it so that the AI wasn't just microing a trillion stalkers at once or doing a ton of different things around on the map, you can read about that, how they did basically have the input limit so that it played similar to how a human would play, and that it wasn't basically just controlling every unit individually all over the map. But yeah, so MaNa taking on AlphaStar. We were lucky to have 6 games between these players because they definitely were interesting games, and now here we are into yeah, let's see, AlphaStar going for a high ground wall off. MaNa going for a high ground wall off too. It's a PvP. I wonder what MaNa's thinking right now. Having to play the AI again after it's kicked his butt, but he knows that this is a different AI, so it's like, what strategy do you choose? Do you treat it like it's a different AI? Do you treat it like it's a completely different matchup or what? I'm honestly unsure. So now we take a look here. There is indeed just a double gateway cybercore opening for both of players. And yeah, probe now moving across the map for MaNa. Another probe moving in for AlphaStar, so the players are scouting each other out. Kind of like that Spider-Man pointing at each other meme, like, hey, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. MaNa gonna try and mess with AlphaStar's mining a little bit. Of course, this is something that the AI can do no sweat without messing up its build, or that it could do. But did it lose that behavior? No, it's gonna keep doing that. MaNa pulls a probe to give him the zappy. MaNa hasn't stolen his 5 minerals yet. He may come in and harass a little bit. Yeah, he's doing that a little bit, messing with the pathing of those probes. Stargate's going to be the tech of choice for AlphaStar. MaNa's probe, however, has gone out before that was thrown up. MaNa himself is going for 2 stalkers after a sentry. So a stalker sentry opening, and then another stalker on the way behind that. Follow that up. MaNa's scouting out, looking for a probe, things like that. And he's sending out his probe. Is he going to go for a cheeky rush or something? MaNa's putting his probe in a Very odd spot. This could definitely be a proxy location, and I can't remember this game for the life of me. So, we'll see. AlphaStar's got that Stargate on the way. And was this played on the different patch? I'm honestly unsure. Unsure, but yeah. Stargate is on the way for AlphaStar, but then again, all the Protoss really needs is a shield battery to be safe from that. There's a Robo on the way for MaNa that is back at home. He never did throw up a proxy pylon, so we got a Stargate versus a later Robo. MaNa playing it a little bit safer, I guess, with the Sentry and the later Robo, whereas AlphaStar wants to get a bit of damage done to MaNa. MaNa, as we see, is matching AlphaStar in probes, just saying, alright, you make a ton of probes, I'll make a ton of probes too, and this is actually something that was really interesting, which players were like, wow, AlphaStar, revolutionary, showing us that you can totally oversaturate your bases. It brought up the argument that, or the thing that some people don't know, is that mining doesn't really fall off till you're mining around 20 probes on a base. And that's where you really get less returns. So all players were kind of looking at that, and it's like, yeah, that's a great idea. You can absorb worker losses, and your economy doesn't actually go down. Things like that, being oversaturated. And MaNa was actually just incorporating that into his play. I don't think he does that as much anymore. But when AlphaStar first came out, players did start experimenting with that quite a bit, which was really cool to see the AI bring something that adjusted how humans play. Is really, really awesome. Now, we take a look. This Oracle is out for AlphaStar, however, it's staying back at home. Both players have got their Nexus on the way. Fairly close timing. AlphaStar's about 20 seconds ahead of MaNa. Once again, MaNa goes for that shield battery to help his defensive play. He's Chrono Boosting out more and more probes. He doesn't want to be outmined by AlphaStar like he did in the different games, and this was some time after that initial match, so it's really awesome to see that MaNa basically adjusted his play versus AlphaStar. MaNa pulls back his injured Stalker. He does lose one as these players are engaging each other. There is an Oracle in the main base of MaNa, however, the battery doing its work. The Stalker gets warped in to help on out. The Stalkers of AlphaStar did pull back, whereas MaNa pulled some of his units into his main base to defend against this. And now I think AlphaStar would have been pressuring with this constantly if it wasn't for the adjusted APM, so maybe this is where we see, maybe that's where we saw MaNa getting like a bit of an advantage, as for the fact that he pulled his units to his main, but then AlphaStar backed off for a second. I don't know if it would have done that, and if it was the other agent. We see, however, 2 Oracles now coming into MaNa's main base. This has given him a lot of grief. He's losing a ton of workers as AlphaStar just cuts through the shield battery energy as 2 Oracles just one-shot workers, and it just goes for all the probes. MaNa has lost a ton of workers at this point. He's still holding on the front, gets some force fields, so going to be locking in some of the Stalkers of AlphaStar, so getting a little bit of compensation, but he is definitely down on workers. Losing 12 probes for 3 Oracles is a little bit painful. AlphaStar was also sniping off MaNa's sentries, which hurts him quite a bit. We'll see if he's going to replace his economy, but oh, MaNa actually did end up throwing a pylon up on the map. Pardon me, I kind of got tunnel vision there for a second, but he's actually going to kill off a few of AlphaStar's workers. This Adept giving AlphaStar a bit of the runaround. Going to be able to kill off some more workers. Yeah, not bad at all for MaNa, killing off 8 probes, so really helping even things up a bit. MaNa didn't see the 3rd base of AlphaStar, but he's got an observer in the main base of the AI. And yeah, things are looking okay for MaNa this game. 35 to 40 workers. That being said, things kind of looked okay for MaNa in the past games, and then he just got wrecked, so we'll see. He's going to warp in 2 more Adepts, however. Try that harassment again, which did work the first time. I don't know if it's going to work the second time, but MaNa, he's just staying back at home, getting up a Stargate, actually, which is an interesting choice. And +1. And yeah, definitely not moving out, as we know what happened last time MaNa moved out. 2 Adepts for MaNa. Do you see the 3rd base of AlphaStar, which is a rather nice scout? He sees the Stalkers with those observers, so he should be careful with those Adepts, but oh, I think he's going to lose them. That's quite a mistake from MaNa. I mean, he saw the Stalkers there with that observer if he looked, so a bit of a mistake. He's got Stalkers in his main base, going to try and push out these Oracles, but AlphaStar does come in, get some kills once again, killing off like 3 more workers of MaNa, just retaining a worker lead. The Adept of MaNa not getting too much done. MaNa is scouting out AlphaStar's Stalker count, so he sees that it's going to be the mass Stalker play from the AI once again. So he knows that he just needs to keep building Immortals. Maybe get some sentries out too, start building up energy, and he can try and lock in some of those Stalkers. We'll see. However, his AlphaStars just kept making oracles as at 4, but MaNa does really get ahead of these ones, so gonna shut down that harassment rather quickly, but I mean, the oracle still kills off a decent chunk of workers. Now coming towards the natural, MaNa does react, however. He's going to push that oracle away, might even kill it. Looks like he will kill it, so really nicely done by MaNa. And the game is going to continue on. MaNa still down on workers by quite a significant margin, though, as we take a look. AlphaStar fully saturating its third base, 60 to 42 workers. MaNa's really behind on the income. He's just going to play the game out in that way, though, as he knows he doesn't want to push out and take a third base because of AlphaStar's micro. But now we see a Prism for MaNa coming into the main base, gonna start harassing, gonna just kill off those warping in units, just target down a few probes and get on out. This is gonna pull all the Blink Stalkers of AlphaStar back. MaNa is, just pulls the AI completely back with that Prism harassment. Really well done. And AlphaStar just warping in all of its Stalkers. Maybe it's gonna get... I think it gets played a little bit here, right? Like, this is what happened, that we see MaNa really starting to exploit the AI as he comes back in with the Prism. He can target down some probes, maybe grab a pylon, we shall see. Microing those Immortals. Kills a Stalker that got warped in. One Stalker warping in against that is not good. AlphaStar produces another Oracle. Really, it wants a Phoenix in order to shut down this Prism. But we do see, AlphaStar just warping in more Stalkers. It wants to move out to go on the offensive, but then we take a look, and MaNa just comes back in with his Prism. Just cue the Benny Hill theme as these Immortals are going to get lifted up again and pulled on out. Trading with a couple of the Stalkers. Nicely done by MaNa. Gets out with the Prism once again. Pulls the AI completely back. Playing it like a fiddle, actually. And behind this, MaNa is just growing up his Immortal count back at home, building up his army, getting +2 attack on the way. And that is what you want against AlphaStar. The bigger, the better the army is, the less understanding the AI seems to have of those big engagements. So while it does do like Stalker micro very well, I don't think it takes larger engagements better, as we've seen in all the latter games. Now, let's take a look here. That Prism gets revealed. MaNa's still got it alive though, and he sees their Stalkers, so he's just like, oh cool, I'm just pulling all your units back, and AlphaStar wants this Prism, but it can't reach it. And I guess it never encountered this in its training, so it's not like it's just making a Phoenix, even though that's what the conclusion a player would logically come to. Make one Phoenix, push this Prism away. And now we're actually going to take a look, though. MaNa's moving out on the map, looking for trouble. He's got his +2, he's got his charge, he's got a ton of Immortals, and he might be trying to catch these Stalkers. He's coming forward, the Stalkers are backed into a corner. It looks like MaNa just chasing away AlphaStar. These Immortals with their +2 put so much hate onto those Stalkers. It actually really, really makes a difference. MaNa now bringing the Prism in, bringing those 2 Immortals in. He's got a good count of Immortals, he's got Archons, he's got Zealots, a very ferocious Protoss army, and this is why we don't usually see players play mass Blink Stalker. This composition totally beats it. And now we see MaNa pushing in towards the main base of AlphaStar. AlphaStar moved out with its Stalkers, but it's going to come back. However, I don't know if it can take a fight like this, as it's losing a ton of probes. Worker count's now ahead for MaNa, even though AlphaStar is getting up its 4th base. The agent really is unsure what to do here. It knows it can't really engage this army, but it's got to try, basically. But yeah, it knows. It's like, I can't attack, I can't fight those Immortals with Stalkers. MaNa gets a force field, gonna pick some of those off. He's now gonna push towards the main base, or the 3rd base, pardon me, of AlphaStar. The probes are running away, however, they will run to their death as they get cut up by those Archons so quickly. The Stalkers are now coming in for AlphaStar at a different angle here. Stalkers microing against Immortals, not working out too darn well. There's just so much here for MaNa. On the left side, things are going okay, as there was no Immortals there, but on the right side, the Immortals just cut through everything that AlphaStar had. The AI really down on supply. MaNa's now pushing towards the main base. Looks like he will lose his Prism, so no more reinforcements, but if he gets parked in the main base, there's no way AlphaStar pushes up this ramp. And AlphaStar lost its 3rd, lost its natural, now going to be losing its main base. It's got all these Oracles, but there's Archons which can deal with them. AlphaStar in big trouble. Big trouble indeed. MaNa's done it. MaNa did end up taking a game once they tweaked the AI so that it didn't have God tier micro, or sort of unfair levels of micro, but yeah, so it does go to show that humanity does definitely have humanity's got the human element. With thinking, with adapting, AlphaStar kind of got played like a fiddle there. I do like AlphaStar trying to fight the Archons with the Oracles. That was really the only possible win I saw, but in the end, the Archons are just way too good to die to Oracles. And MaNa, yeah, beats AlphaStar. Really well done. Really, really well done. AlphaStar has got no workers, 185 minerals, and 1 Nexus. It's going to start making probes. MaNa's going to find that. He'll probably turn around to go kill that. This one probe's gonna rally out and be like, oh, we can do it, we will rebuild, but in the end, no. The probe's like, oh, Zealots to the left, or Immortals to the left of me, Zealots to the right, here I am, stuck in the middle of the view. The Zealots just cut down those probes, the Nexus is gone, AlphaStar gonna actually be eliminated, as MaNa will kill off all the buildings, and well played by MaNa, showing us that he can do it, that humanity can strike back, even if it is a 5-1. But, I do think that MaNa, with the way that he played, if he played 5 games against this iteration of AlphaStar, is that he'd beat it. And it does open up that discussion of whether they should just let an AI have unlimited reign, of basically just unlimited control and everything, and that is definitely a way which we know mechanically machines outdo humans 100% of the time. Machines can lift more than humans. They can go faster. That's why we have cars and things like that. I know that that's got nothing to do with AI, but as far as the actual mechanical element goes, AlphaStar can out-micro any human. So then it really becomes, can you make an AI that micros as well as a human, but then still beats them? And that's kind of the debate here. If MaNa played this version of AlphaStar, I think he'd probably win more games. And so that opens up that whole debate as far as creating an AI to dominate a competition like this. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, my name is LaughNgamez. It's been a pleasure casting the MaNa games. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord to come hang out, talk AlphaStar and stuff like that. The series may be ending, but the community is still going to be there. And join the Discord, or become a member if you do want to support the channel. That does go a long way to helping me out, but see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.